Hi everyone, I'm back with another exit sign and emergency light video. This is Exit and Emergency 26. The first unit I would like to show off and kind of ramble about is the Philips Chloride CCTX combination emergency light and exit sign. This is considered a tandem combo, which is a term used for exit signs and emergency lights that pretty much has a sign and a light mashed together into one. Most exit sign combos that you think of, it's kind of an integrated design, exit sign with two lights on the side. But with tandem combos, they just took an exit sign, took an emergency light, and glued them together. I'm being funny, but it's almost like that. These combos are generally a lot bulky than standard signs or newer combos that you can think of. Like this one's taking a lot of room on my wall. Something else annoying is this mirror is kind of covering it a little bit, but I guess it's not a big deal. Tandem combos were a big trend in the 1990s to 2010s. You would often see manufacturers do something like this. I don't know if it was a cost cutting thing or it's just easier to do this or maybe a little bit of both. But these are kind of a thing of the past now. So yeah, this is it. Moving on to some other things. It has an LED exit lettering with incandescent emergency lights. There's the branding there, Philips Chloride. It also says it on the exit sign. So there's a few different brands that branded these. You might remember this exit sign from a few videos ago. This is a McPheben Compact Series exit sign. McPheben also branded these combos, and there's another company called Daybright. I've never seen them brand this combo. I've seen their name on these exit signs and these emergency lights, but never the combo, but I'm assuming they did. Chloride, McPheben, and Daybright are all owned by Philips, so that's kind of why they make the same exact stuff, since they're all owned by one company. These are also known as the Compact Series. That was kind of their catch-all family name for their exit sign light-ups from all three of their brands. And they're okay. I mean, they're decent exit signs and emergency lights. I will say, if we look at the emergency light, it kind of... Does it look familiar to you at all? Well, look at the emergency light heads, and now look at the Lithonia ELM2 second generation. Yeah, they pretty much just stole the emergency light heads off of these, but when these units came out, these were long discontinued, so I guess that's kind of how they got away with that. The overall appearance of the emergency light kind of looks like a Lithonia 6 ELM2 or 6 ELM2P. A little bit, I guess. There's also a variant of this emergency light and combo that looks like this. This was the halogen option. This is the incandescent version, but again, they also had the halogen version. And look at that emergency light. That's literally just a straight up knockoff of a dual light LZ. And that I'm not sure how they got away with because these were still in production when these were made. So kind of sleazy, I guess. I don't know why they would have done that. The exit sign is pretty original. It's their own distinctive design, but on the emergency light side, not so much. I guess they have these weird dots, but I don't know. And even the mounting on it, it's got these little snaps on the side. That's exactly how the dual light LZ is, if we look at that. But whatever, I guess. Anyways, moving on. Something else cool with these that Philips did is all of these units by default came with self-diagnostics. With most companies, it's a premium option that's more expensive that you can choose from, but with the Compact Series, they gave it to you for free. So up here on the emergency light, you can see we have a green test button and power indicator, and then there's these three little black things, and those are lights, those are red lights. And the self-diagnostics monitor the charger, the battery, and the lamps. So for example, if the battery ever failed and stopped working, that middle light will start blinking to tell you that the battery needs to be fixed. So pretty cool. And as is with most self-diagnostic units, when you press the test button, turns on briefly to test everything out and turns off. Probably one of the quicker self-tests I've seen. And of course, once a month, it will also do a test of everything to make sure it's all good. So let's move on. Enough talking about this. If we follow the arrow there, we have a vintage exit sign. This is a Halo SA series exit sign that dates to the 1970s. It's incandescent, AC only. It has an open face. You can see it's glass, which these are always pretty cool to see. It's got a little underlight here, or path light, to light up a doorway or hallway or wherever else it's installed. It's got an aluminum color housing, or silver. It's really nice. This exit sign also is incomplete, actually, which I didn't realize until I received it. So let's go back to what these are called, the SA series. That stands for sliding arrow. So in the 1970s, and even before that, when you bought an exit sign, you had to specify if you wanted arrows. Either no arrows, right arrow, left arrow, both arrows, whatever. And that's how they came. You know, most exit signs today, like this, when you get it, you can punch out whatever arrows you need, but with older exit signs, that's not how it worked. So Halo lighting, which they still exist today, they produce recessed lighting and other types of lighting. I actually use their lighting products. I'm an electrician, I do stuff. I really like their lighting products, but that's a random tangent. But anyway, at the time, Halo kind of made something revolutionary. So normally there's these little inserts where these red rectangles are. It looks like this. And when you are installing the exit sign, you can slide them up or down to choose if you had an arrow or not. When I bought this exit sign, I didn't realize this one didn't have it, which is a bit of a bummer, but oh well, I still kind of like the appearance of these two red rectangles on either side. Just, it makes it look very vintage. But anyway, so pretty cool. A lot of contractors and builders like this idea because they could just buy one exit sign and it could be used in any direction. So pretty interesting. Let's take a quick peek on the inside of this exit sign. You kind of use that little indentation with your finger. You can open it up. It kind of hinges open. Want to be careful because this is kind of pops out sometimes. So here's the inside. It's pretty basic. There's two light bulb sockets, and I currently have LED bulbs that resemble incandescent. So with old exit signs like this that date from the 1970s and earlier, they pretty much used standard light bulb sockets. This is just a normal light bulb socket. And, you know, that was a trend back then, but they quickly stopped doing that because a lot of people would put the wrong type of light bulbs, too high of a wattage, and they would start to burn the exit signs because most people didn't care. This exit sign is only rated for two 20-watt bulbs, if I'm not mistaken. There's a sticker somewhere. Let me actually remove this face. Here's the back of it. Pretty neat. Yeah, it says it up there. Oh, I'm sorry, 25 watt. So you couldn't have anything higher than a 25 watt bulb per socket. But a lot of people didn't care. They just threw whatever they had, like a 60 watt bulb, and they would kind of burn stuff up, which isn't good. So that's why later incandescent exit signs switched to the very smaller bulb styles, because those are limited on wattage. So but anyway, still super neat. Nothing else really to see. There's no Halo branding on the inside. There is this Union Made sticker, but that's about it. To wrap everything up, let's look at this Dual Light LM emergency light. It's very well built. It's a high output, high capacity emergency light. Very nice Dual Light product, as with most of Dual Light's lineup. It also has Dual Light's Spectron self-diagnostics. It's pretty cool because we just looked at a self-diagnostic unit a minute ago. Now we have another one. Not sure if I've ever had two different self-diagnostic units in my room for a video, but anyways, yep, so Spectron is well engineered by Dual Light. There's a lot of different faults that it constantly monitors for. It lets you know if anything's wrong. Of course, it also tests itself once a month for a minute. It's very nice. In a world before LED emergency lights were common, especially super bright LED emergency lights like the Dual Light EVHC, this was pretty much the brightest emergency light you could get. It's two halogen emergency light optics, which halogen is a lot brighter than incandescent. Yeah, extremely bright. It has an all-metal housing. Very nice. Both of the heads are made out of plastic, though. It's cool. I really like it a lot. It's very nice. It has two large backup batteries on the inside. It's also remote capable, but no remotes installed, so I'm just using it for its expanded runtime. So let's give it a test. Press the test button. You can see the light flashes to indicate we are in self-test mode. And there it is. Very bright. I like it. It's awesome. Super cool. I've also always liked the appearance of these emergency lights. They look super industrial. Something else with these, when you install them, you can choose to have the emergency light heads on top or on the side. There's these little plastic caps that you can remove and mount the lamp heads to the side, but I've always liked emergency lights with the top heads like this. Yeah, not really anything else to say. It's just a very quality emergency light. Dual Light actually still makes these. They don't offer them in the halogen optics anymore. You can get them in the MR16 LED optics, but in my opinion, I would rather have a Dual Light EVHC. It's pretty much the modernized version of this. But I guess emergency lights like this still have an application somewhere. But anyway, that's all. Let's cut off the power and check everything out. Actually, just before I shut off the power, let me show you this Halo SA sign in the dark, because it, hard to see it with the studio lighting on, but there it is. It looks great. I've always loved the open face designs of older incandescent exit signs like this one. There's the downlight lighting up the door and the pathway there. Pretty cool. It definitely lights up this side of my room with all the lights off. But anyways, there's the chloride combo. So now let's turn off the power. Just like that, no more power. We are in emergency mode, but of course the Halo SA is not on. Again, AC only. They actually made these in battery backup, but they're extremely rare to find. They were definitely not common back in the 70s, as most exit signs were AC only anyways. But let's check out everything else. So here is the chloride compact combo, and it's lighting up. Uh-oh, that's not right. This adjustment's off for some reason. There we go. I am very particular when it comes to my emergency light adjustments. But anyways, so there's the combo lighting up the doorway and the path right here. Of course, the exit sign portion is still on. The left head points right about here in the middle of this space. And now let's take a peek at the LM, which is pretty much like the sun. So it's lighting up this area fine. We can walk over here and pretty much everything's illuminated, like if I had my normal lighting on. There it is, very, very bright. Like, extremely bright. The only downside to having these top-mounted heads is the adjustments are off. Well, they're not off, but I can't really point them straight down. So like this head, for example, is pointing more at my bed than it is the ground. I'd prefer it to be here, but you can see it's still lighting up everything very well. Yeah, it's great. I really like it a lot. You can see everything. We can make our way over here where the compact takes over and to the exit. But of course this one isn't lit up. So yeah, that's about everything in emergency mode. Again, I really like this LM, if I haven't made it apparent yet. But anyway, surprise, I'm not done yet. I actually have one more thing to say in this segment. So the power is back on. You can see the Halo sign is back up and running, and the Philips chloride combo has AC power, but something is still on. I don't have my lights on, but the LM remains in emergency mode. Why is that? Well, there's a feature with Dual Light Spectron Self-Diagnostic emergency lights and combos. When the power comes back on, you can see, because the AC light is on, the emergency light portion remains in emergency mode for 15 minutes. And Dual Light gives two reasons for this. The first is they claim that during this 15-minute period, the battery stabilizes or something. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I don't really know what this means, but to what I understand, somehow it's balancing the battery from transferring from emergency mode to AC power. I guess it's better for the battery or something like that. The second reason, which is actually pretty clever, is back when especially incandescent and halogen emergency lights were popular, that was your go-to emergency light, other light fixtures in the building often took a long time to turn back on and warm up and get to full brightness. This is more in like industrial buildings or places like a Walmart or other supercenter or big store or something where they have these big high bay fixtures. And after a power outage and they turn back on, they take a long time to heat up, warm up, and get to their full brightness. So kind of a neat feature from Dual Light to let the emergency light stay on so you can still see, because even though technically the power's back on, it would still be dark. If it's like a typical school or office building, I guess it's really not a feature that would be so helpful because, fluorescent fixtures were common at the time. I guess it could take them a while to fully get to their maximum brightness, I guess. But in today's age with LED technology and pretty much LED light fixtures everywhere, they are essentially on immediately. So this feature really isn't necessary anymore. Even though dual light products today, the Spectron self-diagnostic models, still have this feature, not really necessary, but just something I wanted to add. Something else you can do if you want to cancel this, if you don't want it to run for the 15-minute period, is just press the test button and it goes back into normal AC operation. Well, that's it for this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. It always means the most to me that people watch these kinds of videos. I seriously enjoy hanging up various exit signs and emergency lights and showing them off to you and kind of giving you some trivia about them. It's super fun, and I'm glad you all like it. So that's all. Check out some of the other exit sign and emergency light videos on my channel, or maybe watch a different kind of video, such as fire alarms or security, electrical. Yeah, that's it, and I'll see you later.